former colleague of mine, Peter Hirschberg. And when we were working together to start a company called The Conversation Group, which was one of the very early social media consultancies out there. It's just something he kind of said in passing, I think. I think he's probably been thinking about it for a while. But the exact quote was, as you had said, the idea that advertising is a tax you pay for mediocre products. And what he was referencing is that great products sell themselves. And he wasn't suggesting that all advertising is bad or that it wasn't necessarily, or that it wasn't totally unnecessary to have advertising. You need to increase awareness, but that great products create word of mouth. Great products create demand. Great products meet needs. And the mediocre products, the ones in the middle, need that extra advertising, need a heavier investment in it than is necessary with great products. And in fact, it leads you to different strategies depending on how strong that product offering is. And where I connect it to is the idea that the greater market intimacy you have, the more trust you have in the market, the more you will understand the needs of the market, and the less you will need to advertise because of that connection. And now with social media, of course, and the power of connected customers, that is true now more than ever. I think that we're right on the cusp of this idea of big companies creating their own media instead of investing so much in slicing or renting a slice of other media. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to change and drastically, immediately. It's not the end of advertising. It's not the end of media. It's not one of those stories. It's an evolution of it. I think one of the great ways that we've seen that come to bear is not only some of the magazines that actually create guest blogger sections and have companies sponsor it as part of a conversational engagement opportunity, but it's also looking at sites like TechMe, where they actually use RSS ads, where they're using advertising as a means of distributing content as opposed to a means of getting you to click and buy a product. And that they're looking at it as another point on the continuum of the consideration cycle. You know, we have to touch them how many times before they actually buy? And how do we allocate where is the credit due? Is it that article that they read? Is it the review from the friend? Is it the Facebook like that they saw in their news feed? Is it an ad? Where does that really come from? Well, it comes from all those things in aggregate. And never before have we had more visibility into more parts of that cycle and more parts of that consideration and that influence that. But figuring out how we actually allocate credit, I think, is a really big part of the next phase of advertising, as well as its content side, as well as thinking about advertising as a means for content distribution instead of as a means for a call to buy.